what is Cardano and why should people care?
Well, the easiest way of understanding Cardano, especially when you're talking to an audience that's not familiar with cryptocurrency, is to kind of start from Bitcoin, work your way forward and ask, well, what's the point of Bitcoin? What problem did it solve? So for over 25 years, all these cypherpunks were trying to figure out how do we create this concept of decentralized money, or decentralized movement of value, some sort of network where no one's in control, no one's in charge, but then somehow, some way you can create an instrument, in this case, Bitcoin, that you can just teleport anywhere in the world. It's like email for money. You can send value to people. So that came out in 2009, and it took a few years for it to percolate. But then eventually it got to a point where people said, hey, this is useful and exciting. The problem is Bitcoin doesn't do much in its current design. It's a little slow. There's no programmability. It's kind of like the internet when we just had the web browser, but no JavaScript. You could build these beautiful static websites and you could put nice pictures and good fonts, but you can't have Amazon. You can't have Facebook. You can't have YouTube. So right around 2013, people started saying, well, why don't we have programmability? So instead of just having one system that's decentralized and you can teleport value around, why don't we make that programmable so that you can do all kinds of crazy things like ICOs and STOs and NFTs and DeFi and so forth. So that's where Ethereum came from. And that was kind of the second generation of cryptocurrencies. They said, we like the decentralization. We like the kind of the Austrian economics or this concept of finite value. But then at the same time, we want programmability. So that came out, created all these revolutions. And then people started saying things like, well, hang on a second here. This doesn't work so well with millions to billions of people. Hang on a second here. There's thousands of these things. We need standards and interoperability. We need to move value between the systems. We need oracles. We need metadata. Hang on a second here. These things are really hard to govern. If you remove a central actor and you need to update and modernize and upgrade these systems, who pays for that and who decides? So that problem of scalability, interoperability, and sustainability, we term the third generation cryptocurrencies. And now a whole new class of blockchains are coming out that do the things Ethereum did. So you got your smart contracts and programmability, and the things that Bitcoin did. You've got your decentralization and that ability to teleport value everywhere, but they're also sustainable and scalable, interoperable. So those are the Solanas and the EOSs and the Harmony ones and the Cardanos and the Tezoses and the Polkadots and the Algorands. It's a very diverse ecosystem. What makes us unique is that we didn't just start and say, here's a paper, we think this works. We were very science-minded. So we started from first principles back in 2015, and 2016, 2017 were the two big years for this, where we just went and got a bunch of labs at University of Wyoming and Edinburgh and Athens and Texas, and Tokyo Tech. And we hired all these scientists. We just wrote papers. We wrote 111 academic papers. Wow. We went through an enormous amount of peer review, the standards of the computer science world through conferences. And then we started building a high assurance version of those papers using a kind of a military grade language. It's called Haskell.
Was that your intent to basically slowly peer review individual pieces of this and say, okay, we have the pieces, let's bring it together and basically make the point that, okay, this has been mathematically proven to be correct as we go? Was that by design, or did it just work out that way?
Because it was really hard in 2015 to know what's real and what's not real. Like, for example, we didn't know if proof of stake is possible or not.
Right.
So we said, let's go ahead and build out a scientific corpus. And we're either looking for what's called an impossibility result, where we prove it can't be done, or we show how it's going to be done. And then you're just asking about trade-off profiles.